Ooh, the most above average podcast in the galaxy.
Turn the light off, like your memory
Before we start today's podcast, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you. The most above average podcast in the galaxy is not sponsored by anyone. Everything that you see and hear is paid for directly by us. We do, however, have affiliate links, and the money that comes in from those affiliates does help pay for us to have more hosting platforms, better equipment so you can hear us better, so you can see us better. The money that comes in from that is just icing on the cake. We do this out of the pure love of just chit-chatting with each other and bringing on guests. If you would like for the show to continue, we ask you to support the ones that support us. Again, all the links are in the bio. And thank you, and we hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the most above average podcast in the galaxy. Today, like always, joined by my lovely bearded co-host, Josh. But today, super fun. I'm excited. I don't know if he's excited, but I'm excited. I have my good friend, Rob, also known as Big Energy Rob. Judging by that smile, it might even be extra large Energy Rob today. But because I was going to say your first and last name, and I was like, oh, wait, maybe he's like me. Maybe he doesn't want people to know. So you're just Big Energy Rob.
It's out there, dude. I mean, if you really want to find out what my name is, it takes 2 seconds on the internet. So
Is that on your OnlyFans?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you two also, well, hang on, let me rephrase that. You three also have an incredible beard.
Thanks. I'm actually growing it out right now because I'm actually doing a brand deal soon with a shave company, or razor company, I should say. So I actually have to grow out my facial hair and make it look bad. So, yeah.
Well,
the dedication, dude.
You know, when you get that deal, if they need an extra, let your boy know. What's up?
Dude, I could probably hook it up.
All right.
Yeah.
So, for people who don't know, Big Energy Rob, who you be? Who you be, sir?
Who I be?
Who you be?
I'm a content creator, predominantly in the gaming space. My content is heavily comedic based. That's pretty much all the type of stuff I do. Everything has like some comedic factor to it. I just like to make people laugh and have fun and that type of shit. I don't do anything that's serious whatsoever. But Call of Duty is my main game. That's what really that's how I got my following on TikTok. That's where it all started. And yeah, I make skits. I make commentary videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff about predominantly Call of Duty, but not just limited to that. Just other stuff in the gaming world for sure. So that's the biggest thing, no doubt. But
Yeah,
aside from gaming, I also love fitness and sports and a kind of a wide array of stuff, tech, photography. But I was able to turn content creation and making vertical videos on TikTok and whatnot into a real career. And that's led me to this podcast.
Yeah, we've been friends for a while, and you were on the fitness team for a good chunk of time, and we've stayed in contact. And you hit me up every once in a while, and you text me. And when I'm driving, I see your name pop up on the car. I'm like, oh yeah, my famous friend. But
dude, stop saying that.
It's fun because when people ask,
God.
you have such a wide variety of people on the team. You're definitely one of those people because you have such a unique way of making a living. And
For sure.
And I remember, I would sit there, I'd sit on the couch and I'd watch when you were streaming and whatnot. And I always thought that it was so fascinating because even though that kind of tech job isn't in the fitness world, there's a lot of similarities. So Josh coaches, the power lifters, the strongmen, stuff like that. I obviously do, the bodybuilders and whatnot. And
when people pick a coach or people pick a streamer or a YouTuber, whatever it may be, we all kind of do similar things. So the people are really invested in that person, that character, whatever they are, they're bonding with and building a relationship with that person. And I remember watching some of your streams and thinking that it was such an incredible thing to watch, the way that you built a community. And I knew that you had a pretty consistent streaming schedule. When you built your brand, was that something that you already went in there thinking that I needed to develop this community, I needed people to feel valued in that, or is that something that just came along later?
I think that was more natural than anything. I think I just want that. I've grown up watching YouTubers, and I sort of watch streaming, but like mainly like YouTubers and other content creators, I should say, and I've seen their huge communities, and I always thought that was just like super cool to have. And then also when you go live, having the same people show up every single time and show love, and people in the chat you can actually have a conversation with and all that kind of stuff, like it's genuinely a lot of fun to me, and I just appreciate it a lot. So like I'm not gonna ever be one of those guys that's live and people are saying stuff in the chat, I'm just like ignoring them because I think I don't know, like they have the privilege of watching me or something, which is a way a lot of streamers think, which is fucking, sorry, I don't know if I can swear in here, but it's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah. No. This podcast is self-funded. You can say
Okay.
whatever you want.
I should ask, but yeah, no, the community thing, I think it's, I just think it's everything. You can't really do a whole lot without the support of others, and before the streaming and all this content stuff, I've ran 2 different clothing brands and been a part of some other companies and stuff. And the community aspect is single-handedly what kept all of those things afloat for forever, well, not forever, but like till the end of them, I should say. So I just, to me, it was pretty obvious how valuable it is to have a community, but it's also very enjoyable and fun to me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you can definitely tell that when you're streaming that you're generally having a good time. You're not doing it because you're like, oh shit, Thursday is community day. I gotta be in this live chat.
Yeah, when I first started streaming, that was also, you said I'm consistent, which is fucking hilarious because when my friends watch this podcast, they all know I'm like, at least nowadays, I'm like wildly inconsistent. So like when they hear that, I know they're all laughing already. But back in the day, I mean, there was a time where I was pretty consistent.
Yeah, I was gonna say back in the day, you had a schedule.
Yeah, it was late. That was late 2020. I think August 1st.
I was gonna say it was COVID time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was August. I think it was August 2nd or August 1st was the first time I ever went live, and I would play Call of Duty, and every single time I played, I would be playing multiplayer, and I would tell the chat, I'm like, if anybody wants to play, you guys can get in the game, because you could do like parties of 6, I think. And some game modes had like parties of 10, but I'd be like, anybody wants to play, like, I don't know, here's my gamer tag, like add my shit, and they would add me, and then I had this whole friends list of people I had no fucking idea who they were, but they would just join in, and like everybody thought it was a lot of fun. And I didn't realize that was such a thing that like nobody does. I was just like, I don't know, I just thought it was fun, so
because I'd be in the room and I'd see how many people were actively watching, but it just felt, which was a huge number. It was very impressive, but it just felt like you were hanging out with the boys. It didn't feel anything
Exactly.
other than just having a good time.
Yeah. And most of my streams too, I'm actually gonna stream tonight, because the new Warzone's out and everything. But I took a long break from like gaming on stream, and I would do just chattings where I would literally just sit here and talk to anybody in the chat for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. And the time flies, and I actually always enjoy doing that a lot, because I feel like live streaming, the value that it brings is how you're able to actually really connect and have a conversation with these content creators that you may, like a lot, right? It's like you can leave a comment on someone's video, but it's not a real conversation. But I'm like actually talking to these people, and vice versa and stuff, and it's just like that dynamic is really cool, and that's what's so valuable about live streaming. But I recognize that at a pretty early time for sure.
So you start streaming, and then you start doing these little clips of the video game and whatnot. And shit, for years I even thought that you worked for Activision. That was such a fun skit that you started. And I was like, wow, he really works there. This guy's pretty trash for working at this company who developed this game. But
Yeah.
so when you started building this brand, you're building a community, you're building a brand that is you. It's not like you're hiding behind a logo, you're not hiding behind a product. It's you. And as the viewers grow, the success grows, the money starts coming in, did you ever hit any like weird roadblocks that you weren't expecting when you're like, okay, there's money coming in from this, did anything ever arrive that you were like, oh, I gotta take a couple steps back, that kind of fucked it up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, right away, Warzone 2 comes to mind. Dude. Yeah, that is easily the best example I could say. So for those of you who don't know, Warzone 1 was the biggest game there was during COVID. It came out like a week before COVID happened. And I mean, I think it was like, I saw something, I think it was last night, it said like 120 million people or something were like downloaded it, or some wild stat that just makes no sense. It was just the biggest thing ever. And like people loved it and the game was great and whatever. And during that time I started making Call of Duty content, and people liked it a lot. The views started going up, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to keep making Call of Duty content. I had no desire to like even be in the gaming world. My TikTok was all over the place at that time, and I had it for like 5 months at that time. I started making some Call of Duty stuff in March, and some videos did well. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to keep doing this. And then everything started going really well for a few years, because Warzone 1 was still the same game. Like people still liked it a lot. There weren't as many players, but it was still like a super popular, loved game. And then Warzone 2 came out in late 2022, and it was like a night and day difference with the experience. Like there were so many things that no one asked for that were so terrible, and the player count dropped off like an incredible amount. Like if I uploaded a YouTube video about it, no one gave a shit, whatever. And you're stuck with that shit for like a year, so that changed not only me, but the whole Call of Duty community who was uploading content on it was affected like substantially. And you saw a lot of people stop or pivot or just whatever. But that was like I don't know why. Like I really thought that would never stop. Like I thought it would just, why would they ever change it, right? Like if it's so good. I mean, crazy to think about, but they completely changed it. They made like 50 changes, like not even exaggerating, that were like a very bad idea.
Yeah, I was going to say
nobody wanted, nobody liked.
Good changes. No one ever hopped on and they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait."
No, like the movement was slow. I mean, dude, I could talk about this forever, but that was a huge test and lesson that just because things are super dope right now, it's like you never know. Because 2022, for example, on YouTube, that whole year I had like 83 million views in just that year, and my channel went from like basically 5,000 subs to like 240,000 subs. And every time I uploaded a video, I knew literally, no exaggeration, within 30 minutes, that video was going to have like 40 something thousand views. It was fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. I always thought it was nuts. But then at the same time, like I never really thought, I don't know. I just never really thought that would change because I found the game. Found the niche. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm having fun. And then the game sucks. Nobody cares. They eliminated like 4 or 5 different communities. So like in Warzone, there's different communities. There's like a sniping community. There's like a movement community where it's like guys that just like juke dudes out and just, they're so good at the game. It's all about movement and how, whatever. There was I'm drawing a blank, but there's like 2 other communities like that, like very niche, but also very big. And when Warzone 2 came out, the sniping was terrible. There was no sniper that was a one-shot sniper, so there's no point in sniping. So you couldn't do like trick shots or get any cool clips. They slowed the movement down like an incredible amount, so there was no more movement community. And I forget what the other ones were because it's been a while, but little things like that just add up, and then the game, and then it's just like, I just found myself like being like, what the fuck do I do? Like, what do I want to do? So that was a big test for sure. I know that was a long-winded answer, but I feel like context, makes a huge difference. But
no, that was good because you ended up answering a couple of other questions for me.
Okay,
but I'm going to jump out of order from the questions that I had written down. So
yeah,
going to the YouTube thing. So as a content creator, you're always looking at the different platforms, and there's so many different things that go with posting on these different platforms. The hashtags are different from TikTok than they are for Instagram. There's certain amounts, like, yes, you may be allotted X amount of hashtags, but a certain amount actually goes to the algorithm better, things like that. From a monetary standpoint, have you noticed that one particular, hang on, not those weird bonuses included, but just as a whole, have you seen one particular platform that rewards its creators better?
Well, I mean, if you have a strong long form community and presence on YouTube, you can make a lot of money doing that. It's also probably the hardest thing there is to do. So like these guys really earn that stuff on YouTube. I feel like, it takes a lot of work to make like a legit long form video, and a lot of editing, a lot of like time. Just, it's way different than like all my stuff. I'll literally be in my truck and I'll just like take my phone out and talk about something, and it might get 1 million views, but effort wise, it really wasn't that crazy at all. But when it comes to like money on these platforms, I mean, they really are all just a bonus type thing. Facebook, surprising enough, actually pays super well. It's really weird. Like, people sleep on it, and including me, up until like probably a month and a half ago. And now, like, if I look at my analytics on every platform, like, Facebook is like by far the biggest one, which is so weird because to me, it's still such a lame, like, platform. I don't know. Like, I'm like rarely actually on there doing anything. Like, when I post something on Instagram, it automatically posts to Facebook. So I don't even really have to look at it or anything. I just post on there. But the algorithm seems to be kind of crazy too. Like, I'll have posts that get 100,000 views that don't even get that many likes or shares or like anything, but you get paid off the views. So it's kind of bizarre, but there's still a lot of money to be had on Facebook. Instagram is, you never really know with Instagram. YouTube Shorts pays like ass. What else? Snapchat is actually, I don't make any money on Snapchat, but I know some people that if you can like somehow get into this program they have, I guess it pays like an incredible amount, but you have to post like no joke, like 30 times a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. If you go on Snapchat and watch somebody's like story for the day, like one of these big creators that's actually making money, they'll post like basically the same photo like 6 times in a row. Like, it's the most dog shit platform. It's crazy, but I guess there's a lot of money on there, I guess.
Yeah, because the only people that I know that actively do anything with Snapchat are just, Instagram hoes trying to make some side hustle money.
Yeah, that's really all it is. It's like the biggest
my private Snapchat.
Yeah, it's a bizarre platform. It's like it easily has the worst UI. Like, you can see analytics on a video in 2 different areas, and it shows 2 different amounts of views, and like it's just a dog shit app. I don't know what it is. It's like a big scam for like advertising. But like, the app itself doesn't seem to bring any value to anybody. It's like it's a weird app, but I guess there's money on it. I don't even know, dude.
Well, speaking of platform changes, I know it's not super recent, but semi-recent. There was a lot of controversy. That was great English.
Yeah.
Controversy. Apparently, I had a stroke there.
I was acting like I didn't hear it. You're good.
I have to admit my controversy. But anyway, there was controversy with the Twitch streamers and when they docked everyone's money by like 50%. And obviously that put people in a pretty big, hey, fuck Twitch. I know a lot of people went over to Kick and things like that. Now, when that happened, were you already on your way out to something different, or was that kind of like oh, okay, this is pretty good timing, I'm fucking out?
Nah, there wasn't really too much thought that went into it. Kick has a 95 split, so if you give me $10, I make, $9.50 on that. On Twitch, you would make, half of that. So that's a huge incentive for people. I mean, there's pros and cons of every single platform, but that was cool. One of my best friends is like one of the biggest faces on Kick, and he's had a good experience. He's made a lot of great money on there and stuff like that. And I just right now that's the platform I'll be on later tonight. But I just kind of wanted to try it out and see how it is. It has a weird stigma around it because like it's ran by this gambling company. So, and they like when they first launched, their sales pitch was basically like you can kind of do whatever you want on here. Like no one was getting banned and people were doing the craziest shit ever, dude. And like there was no rules. Like whereas Twitch, it's pretty strict in some aspects and stuff. You can say one word wrong or one sentence, just how you feel about something, and you could like get banned. But then on Kick, it's like very freedom of speech, but almost like too much. Like there just needs to be some rules, and they've actually done a good job over the past probably like 7 months of like actually having some regulations on there, from the look of it. So it's always had this really bad stigma. So a lot of people avoided it for that reason because they just don't want to, like if you're a Kick streamer, like, you are this type of person, and a part of me, like, I don't relate at all to like most of the, like all of those kind of people. Cause there are like terrible people on Kick. There's also there's terrible people everywhere.
Terrible people everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They just are. And I just know I'm nothing like any of those people. So a part of me almost wants to go on Kick and show people that like normal, just people can be on here. Like you don't have to be a nut job, like doing these like IRL streams where they walk around the city, like antagonizing people and like, stuff like that. So, but I wanted to give it a fair shot instead of writing it off like everybody else and, stream on Kick, maybe like 10 times and really see how it is. And it did have this stigma of like having, cause some of the biggest faces on the app, like, on the platform, like some of the guys that are like part owners also have like pretty toxic chats. So that it's always been a bad look from a branding aspect, in my opinion, like a very bad look to have these guys be the face of the brand, but they have these huge platforms. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but
You gotta pick your battles.
Yeah, for sure. So I just wanted to just test it out, instead of being like, nah, I'm good with all that shit. Like, and every stream I've had on Kick so far has been like totally fine. Like I think I might have banned like one person. You know what I mean? So I haven't had any problems or any assholes or anything like that. I wish I had smaller calves, to be honest. Like I'm sick of having big ass legs, but yeah. So
Blasphemy.
that's just kind of how I feel about the platform. I have nothing bad to say about it yet. So yeah, just trying to have an open mind, I guess.
So you were talking about brand image and whatnot, which kind of bled into my next thing. You've had such a wild opportunity of having these incredible endorsement deals. And not from like little rinky dink mom and pop things. Like these are big moneymaker companies. One, what was the first brand ambassador deal that you got as a content creator? And then what was the one that made you go like, holy shit, like this is dope.
Yeah, I think the first ever. Is that what you asked? The first ever?
Yeah.
So I signed to a talent agency in 2022, and right before I did that, I just happened to like get hit up by this marketing agency for a deal, and that was with, I don't know if it was like this, it was like two at this one moment. One of them was like this credit card where basically like if you used it, you got like points for a gaming marketplace or something. But then the other deal, I don't think this was with the agency, but it was Fortnite. And they were like, we have these new weapons coming to the game, like just make a couple of clips, like showing the weapons and talking about them and stuff. And I did that, and I was like, that's fucking sick. Like that was a really cool moment, you know? So, and then let's see, another one that like really blew me away was getting to work with Doritos and Mountain Dew was a pretty big deal to me, because I was like, that deal was Circle K, Doritos, and Mountain Dew in one, and being able to just, I don't know, like talk to these people and experience that was pretty cool. It's kind of a pain in the ass because there's so many like lawyers, like people have no idea how this works, but like there's all these lawyers involved, and they have to, like, different legal teams have to approve your stuff, and I've had to redo videos because you can see like a Jordan logo in the background or something, like stuff like that, and it makes sense, like I get it, but I've had to redo these like productions and stuff, and then go downstairs where there's no logo anywhere and wear like a blank shirt and like all this kind of shit. Who was that? I think it was Jack Links. They told me I couldn't show my tattoos because some tattoo artwork may be copyrighted or something. I'm like, dude, okay. Like, trust me, nobody cares, but yeah, but they have to cover their ass. So, and then other companies will be like, hey, can you do this? Like, and they won't even give a damn about anything. But once you start talking to like the real big corporations, it's pretty interesting to see how the process is. But yeah, there's been a few brands for sure where I'm just like, I just feel super fortunate, and it's just like crazy. Jack in the Box was a big one. That was a big deal to me because I grew up playing baseball, and after every game there was a Jack in the Box like 2 minutes away. So it was kind of like a tradition to go there like every single time. And I've always liked their food and stuff. So getting that deal was really cool. And I was actually approached about a Jack in the Box deal like 3 different times, and it fell through every single time. So like finally getting the approval and doing it was really cool. And then they actually ran that ad during Super Bowl weekend on TikTok. That was like a part of their Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, that's
on social media. So like that was really cool too. And I had filmed it in like December, and then somebody sent me it in February, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, well, I'm in this commercial. Like I legit like forgot about it and stuff. So that was actually really cool. And some other people started, randomly seeing it, and that was a cool experience for sure.
And when you do, because like when you do I guess a lot of people don't know this. When you do commercials and stuff like that, they're traditionally called campaigns. Like they have like an idea of what they're going to do, and then they might set it up for multiple commercials in this campaign. When they set it up like that, because now that you have management overseeing everything, are there royalties involved with social media related stuff too, or is that just designated for like the larger platforms? Like
There's
YouTube
no
and, like regular TV.
Yeah, I think there would only be royalties if it was like, I guess if I was like a investor, or if it was my product or something. I don't know. But yeah, in the contracts, like it's never said that before. It should say that now that you bring that up. Maybe I'll start bringing that up. But
it'd be like, hey, what's up with my royalties, fool?
Yeah, just hit up every single company. Sometimes there is they'll give you like a code or whatever, and you get commission. Like I'm about to do this deal with this sports betting company, and like there's like revenue share plus like a payment up front. So there's just a bunch of different ways to go about how they want to pay and whatever. So
That's exciting.
yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Now is, excuse me, you've had the energy drinks, and you've got these fun little snacky foods. I was telling my wife before I came in here, I was like, I'm gonna see how I can swindle one of these contracts, man, because we do a lot of episodes, and man, I get hungry.
I don't even have one. I'm trying to get some more chips or whatever the fuck. Yeah, trust me.
What were those like Cheez-It things that you had?
Jetties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Steve Aoki is they signed Steve Aoki, so I know they got some money for sure. But they were super cool.
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, you asked me for my address, and I totally thought you were going to send me some energy drink and some Chetties, man. Womp.
Something's being sent to your house. I don't know when it's going to show up, but it should be there sometime.
Well, if it's a stripper, she probably
I actually forgot I sent you something, so it should be there. I could probably check on that after this, but it's not a stripper.
DVD of all your commercials.
It's not a stripper, just a bunch of empty Chetty boxes.
Look what you missed out on, bitch.
Yeah. The thing about like working with these brands is you're not literally working with the brand. There's a marketing agency that's the middleman with everything. So there's a marketing agency and they'll be like, hey, one of our clients is Jack in the Box. This is what happened to me in the past when that didn't work out. They were like, hey, we have a deal with Jack in the Box. Like we think you would be a great fit. And then my manager and them will negotiate the terms and the price and whatever, the deliverables and stuff. And then they'll agree to it. And this is what happened too in the past. They agreed to all this stuff. So I was kind of naive at the time. I'm like, oh shit, like I got this shit. Like it's a wrap. Like, I'm doing a deal with Jack in the Box. And then they show that to Jack in the Box. And then Jack in the Box decides whether or not they want to do that. So that happened 2 other times, maybe 3 other times actually. And they just didn't, I don't know, like they didn't think I was the right fit or whatever. I don't even know what the reason was, and then it just falls through and whatever. So that's usually, but that's how like every single big brand works, like the massive ones. Some of the companies you're directly speaking to like a partnership manager and they kind of handle it. Like some hydration stuff I've done in the past, like Element. That was all purely like directly with them. But like these big ones that do these campaigns, there's always like a marketing agency that has some sort of budget and whatever. So, yeah.
I got a 2-parter. One, do you notice that it's harder to get some of these brand ambassador deals because you're a ginger? But I guess more importantly,
somebody told me, I got told once that it actually, like, I don't know if it made it easier, but it was like an appealing thing.
Okay.
So yeah, the opposite.
So, it's, you have, a handful of creative say and whatnot. Is it hard to be creative all the time? Like, do you ever hit like a roadblock where you're just like, man, I just can't think of anything funny right now, and like just a total brain fart? Or can you just shoot everything, from the hip 24/7? Nah,
it definitely is tough for sure. Like even this year specifically has been tough. And I don't even know. I usually don't know why either. I make Call of Duty content, like I said, and I do find that I do find when I don't actually play the game, the idea is like don't flow at all. So I actually took like a few months off of like playing the game with my friends because I usually play it as like a social thing at night. It's not really like I'm never playing it like by myself. You know what I mean? So, but as you're playing, like some dumb shit will happen in the game and like a joke will come to my brain almost immediately. And then I write it down. I have these like documents for content and whatever. So I make note of whatever I'm thinking. And then when it comes time to make a skit about it, or some funny piece of content, I usually kind of freestyle that. But when it comes to like the ideation process, yeah, it can be super tough, dude. Like there's a lot of times where I just have no idea what to do. But I have a really good circle of people around me that I can just bounce ideas off of and whatever. I also have a really hard time asking people for like any help or whatever. I just like, I don't know what it is about that. Like I find some sort of like, I find it to be super gratifying to like do everything by myself and just know that I did everything by myself. But like, it's not very conducive to like being efficient, I guess, or something. So
Yeah, no,
yeah, but yeah,
and I see
it's
that
tough.
appeal with trying to be, you know, a one man army of like, nah, I did all of this.
Yeah, like I don't even know why I'm like that, but I find myself doing that, and then I'll like hit up one of my really good friends about like that also plays Call of Duty all the time, and like we come up with a funny idea in like 5 minutes, and I'm like, dude, you know, why am I not doing this more often? But yeah, so coming up with ideas, I've always said ideas are like, dude, like 90% of it. I mean, I have all the confidence in the world of like making a video and like editing it and recording it and knowing, you know, just all the nuance that goes into making like a good piece of content. That's not a problem at all. But what the hell am I going to even talk about the subject and what's relevant and all that kind of stuff? That's tough for sure. No doubt. And when you've been doing the same game now, you know, for 5 years, it's like coming up with brand new jokes about it. It's just fucking hard, dude. It's hard.
So aside from, you know, most people know you as the front of, you know, your Big Rob energy. You got all the Call of Duty stuff going on. Occasionally you'll dip into a little bit of Halo and whatnot. But aside from that, most people don't know that you have a pretty big social media account for Mopar related things.
Well, I did.
Uh-oh. I did. Oh,
Yeah, actually,
do we have to
dude.
backtrack?
Yeah, actually, at the beginning of the year, last year, on New Year's, that account got deleted.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, dude, it had 450,000 followers on Instagram, and it's so crazy. I would just post content I thought was really cool. I actually transformed it from a Mopar page into like an all-encompassing car page because I used to have it all started because I had a Dodge Charger and it was like my car's page, and then I started realizing that there's people out there that have way cooler Chargers than me, and I'm like, I had no plans on like making it look any different at all or like doing these mods or like anything. So I'm like, I'm just gonna start sharing like other Mopar content and not just mine. And then it started growing a lot because some people do wild shit and make crazy videos, and I would credit every single person, and you know, it's super common. I mean, there's like thousands of car pages that do the same shit. And then one day I was like, you know what? Instead of just doing Mopar shit, I should just change it to a car culture page and just post, you know, any cool videos, because now you can reach a whole different, like a way bigger audience. And then yeah, I honest to God don't even know what happened. And it was New Year's, and I got I don't know if I got an email or something. I got a message or something happened. I think I got logged out of my account, or I don't know, it was very obvious. I couldn't use the page anymore. And yeah, and it was a fucking wrap. So I don't know what happened. I think I have an idea of what happened. I don't know if you know who TJ Hunt is.
Yeah.
But he's like one of the biggest car YouTubers there is. And I posted his car because his car at the time was my favorite car of all time. And it was a GT3 RS. It was purple. It was fucking incredible. And he had this launch control video. And I'm like, this is sick. I'm just going to post this. And I have a feeling that video probably got reported by like all of his fans or something for like, because he didn't post it or something. And then I think that was it. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because every other video like never had a problem and never got a strike and never did anything. And it was Yeah, I don't know. And I was just about to try to use that page to actually do ads and like monetize it in some way. It wasn't even monetized. I wasn't monetizing it at all. So, and then it was just gone. I'm like, all right, well, that sucks. But yeah, dude, I don't know.
Man, yeah, that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so when you were like, it's gone, I was like, oh shit, was I not supposed to talk about this?
Yeah, no, it's all good. I literally never even think about it anymore. It's just, you know, yeah, it's what it is. It was always like a purely fun thing. It was weird. It's weird when the content like isn't yours because I don't know. I found myself getting all these followers on it, and like it just feels way different when it's just like you're just posting stuff. I don't know. It was never like a real satisfying experience whatsoever, but it was still fun to like run. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a passion. You enjoy cars.
Yeah, it was just like a fun thing, and I had been doing it at that point. That page was like 6 years old, so like I've been doing it like all the time for like a super long time, you know.
Yeah.
But and then you would look at the coolest part was you can look at like a lot of like pro athletes and actors and like all the UFC fighters were all following the page because they just like cars and they like Mopar and stuff like that. So like that was really cool. Like I could type in like because you could search through your followers to see who's following you, and I would type in like a couple letters and like these dudes in the NFL that I like or whatever would just be following the page, and you know like that was cool. But other than that, I don't know. It was just like a passion project, I guess. Yeah.
So, aside from, you're a car fanatic, you've got all these cool things going on with content creation. I know you help out other people, doing a lot of other video work and things like that. But you're really big into fitness. And I know you put in work. I mean, we've worked together. I know for a fact you put in work. And that kind of statement doesn't come likely because I see a lot of people, and some people say they're like, oh, I put in work. I'm like, nah, you fucking lazy. But you put in work because you send me pictures and you're like, dude, I'm drenched in sweat. I'm getting my ass kicked. And I'm like, you're kicking your own ass.
Yeah.
Now that you travel quite a bit and, you go to some of these other events and you mingle with other people, do you have a hard time finding people that are like-minded, like you, in that creative space that are not just people that sit in front of, their monitor and they're not physically active. They're not out there. They're not in the gym. They're not trying to be swole. They're not trying to, have no neck and be massive.
Yeah.
Is the fitness blending well, or are you kind of sticking out like a sore thumb?
I think a few years ago when I first kind of started like tweeting out like fitness type stuff, like I would just post a picture at the gym or whatever. I think when I first started doing it back then, there was really like I didn't see like anybody else doing it in this community. And I mean the gaming world, dude, it's gotta be the least like active space there is. I mean, honestly, these guys like boast about streaming for like 15 hours straight. Like it's like praised to not do shit. Like, I don't know. It's so unrelatable to me. Cause yeah, I was in, I've loved working out. I've played sports my whole life. Like I was in the fitness world for 5 years and, it's just always been a part of my DNA. It's like my favorite thing to do. I have to do it every day or I literally like act differently. Like I'm just not the same guy. Like I have to do it. So I just like, I was posting more like lifestyle stuff on Twitter. And fitness is obviously a huge part of my life. So I would post about, just a photo at the gym, like kind of encouraging people. I also did it because I wanted to show people like that it's important to be healthy, I guess. You know what I mean? And try to be one of those people that does stand out because nobody else is doing this shit. But it all did come naturally for sure. Sorry, I kind of forgot what your fucking original question was.
I was just asking, were you kind of like the lone wolf in, being a content creator, but also being,
Yeah.
a gym fanatic. I don't want to call
I
you a
would
gym
say-
because that's not the right term, but you are a fitness fanatic.
Yeah, I would say I was one of a handful of people that were talking about it, at least. I think people were just posting their gaming clips and talking about gaming nonstop and all this shit. And I've even tweeted recently about how I would love more gamers in this space to talk about like other shit. Like they all just like people just stay in this bubble, but it's like I don't even know who these people actually are. And I've known some of them for like 5 years, and I couldn't even tell you how tall these people are because all their shit is just at their desk. You know what I mean? It's like you don't really know any. Like they're not really building. To me, their brand is like so untapped. Like I don't really know these
Here's
people
me
are.
from the nipples up.
Yeah, but just post some like more. I don't know. Like what kind of music do you like? Like I don't know. Just relate with people. But yeah, as far as fitness goes, it was definitely it's very rare to see anybody post about the gym or how much they lifted. But now it seems to be a more common thing. I think fitness in general is just blowing up like crazy on social media, and yeah, I see it more often for sure. I have friends that are close to me that were never really gym fanatics, but they're very into it now, and we hold each other accountable. And like, most of them are like in the gaming or like the tech space, both spaces where it's just, yeah, you just don't see it much. Like there might be people working out and stuff, but like people aren't like talking about it.
Sure.
But now like
Well,
most of my
it's
friends
a pretty
are talking about
sedentary
it.
lifestyle. You know, when you sit in a chair for a living,
For sure.
you gotta find movement.
Yeah. Yeah. People ask me why I don't stream like that much or even long hours or whatever. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I don't even want that to be my life, dude. Like, like right after this, I'm going to go for a walk outside because it's like beautiful out. And like, that sounds like a very fun thing to do. But like, that's a rare thing. There's not many gamers that are like, dude, I can't wait to go for a walk. Like they can't wait to lock into some like fucking war zone. You know what I mean? And just do that and whatever. But, I don't know. But I'm also 30, 4 years old. And these guys are like, a lot of these guys are like in their early 20s and I didn't know so much about fitness or nutrition or anything until like mid to late 20s and stuff. So I don't really blame them or anything.
They're at a
I don't
different
know.
chapter of their life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different chapter for sure. So, but for me, it's just a passion, and I'm just trying to. It's just I don't know. I just try to stay fit, and yeah, it's fun. But it is genuinely fun for me to go to the gym. Like I really, that's probably the most enjoyment I get throughout the day for sure. I love going there. But
Nice.
I like promoting a healthy lifestyle too for sure. Like I know this one dude who he tweeted a couple days ago. He just lost 100 pounds, and he's a pretty predominant figure in the gaming world. And he was pretty quiet about it. Like I had no idea he was even on this journey. But he posted about losing weight, and then you see all these other guys and that are kind of posting about it here and there. So it's definitely happening. People are getting a little more curious about, I don't know, just nutrition and staying healthy and stuff like that. So
That's really cool to see, and I'm sure
it's really cool.
it'll just compound to so many different other aspects of life. I mean,
Yeah, dude. That's that's exactly what I try to say, dude, for sure. I'm like, I tell so many people, I'm like, you don't even understand like what it even feels like to feel good. Like you think you feel good, dude. You have no fucking idea what like a real clear brain even feels like. You know what I mean? To like be on point and be sharp or what it even feels like to really be strong. It's like
to walk around the
you
mall.
think
and not
you
be
feel
winded,
good, dude.
like, yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah, I don't know. I see people like starting up their stream at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, dude, you just have no idea what you're doing. But I don't blame them because they have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It is what it is.
So I know you travel quite a bit, much like I do.
Yeah.
So I got a two-parter because that's how I
Okay.
roll. One, what is your favorite place to travel to, city-wise?
Dude, I love San Diego.
Okay.
I also love Chicago. One of my best friends lives there. It's very different than San Diego. It's a big fucking city. But just the amount of fun places you could go to, it's like never ending. So when I go out there, he's always like a great, tour guide pretty much. And he always has cool things set up and like cool ideas and stuff. So like we'll go to like these restaurants and go out at night, and it's just always a ton of fun. I don't know. It's cool. It's like those big cities take everything so seriously, and like the service and like the aesthetic of every place is just like, it's just fucking cool. I live in the kind of a smaller town in Oregon, so like you don't have any of that shit. So so that's really cool. And then I like San Diego. The weather is fucking awesome. I feel like it's kind of more of like just a laid back place. Like the biggest gaming conventions there every year, so I have a reason to go there every year. And I've always had a good time. I've been there probably 4 or 5 times, and like it's always been a blast. I don't know, so I like going out there for sure.
I'm always fascinated every time I go somewhere, especially like when I travel back to the East Coast, and there's simple changes, but there's still pretty big changes. I remember we were down in Mississippi, was this last year, and we were driving, and Michael's with me in the car, and we both look at each other like, what the fuck did we just look at? And another sign came about to we're like, nope, that really said it. And underneath the speed limit sign, it said minimum speed. And I was like, I've never seen a minimum speed limit sign. So I had to ask the locals. I was like, all right, I'm from California. Don't shoot me. But what's up with your speed limit sign? And they were totally cool about it. They're like, oh, because our towns are spread so far apart that there's really no other way to get around other than utilizing the highway. And so the issue with it is you see a lot of people either on bicycles or tractors or basically any other transportation means to go around. And that's their way of deterring people from using the highway instead of trying to take some of like the janky ass back roads. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
I have no desire to go there, by the way.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, as many places that I've been, and Lord knows I've been all over the place, you can either confirm or not confirm. That's totally up to you. But I will be the first person to tell you that Seattle's a shithole.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my sister lives in downtown Seattle.
Yeah. Shithole.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
went
I grew up 30 minutes east of Seattle. So like we'd have a lot of, if we ever had family in town or whatever.
Were you going to Bellevue?
No, I was in Issaquah.
Oh, okay. I gotta go up to Bellevue the first part of May for a bodybuilding show.
Oh, dude, the fucking Emerald Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife actually competed at that.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, we used to be there every year, dude. We drive up there, it was like 8 hours away, and that was the first time we ever did an expo. That was like 2016 or something, or 2015. Michael Hearn was there. I got a shirt in my closet with Michael Hearn, Phil Heath, and Stan Efferding signed it. That's who it was.
And I'm sure they were all natties.
Yeah, they're all like super tiny dudes, but Stan might be I don't know if you guys have ever met him, but he's like the nicest fucking dude. Like,
I've met him. I met him.
He's a
The
saint.
first time I met him was when he was still actively competing, when he was the White Rhino.
Oh yeah.
So I had like
He's awesome.
a weird boost of, I don't even know if you wouldn't call it fame. I don't think that's the right way of putting it. But I get a phone call one day. So hang on, I got to backtrack before I finish the story. When you, like the way that I coach, and when you coach at a particular level, most coaches do pretty much not the same thing, but with a lot of similarities. And every coach puts their own little flair on it. You can only, modify science so much. So the drug protocols for competitive bodybuilders are all relatively the same at an elite level. Maybe a couple oddball dosage changes here and there. The food is pretty similar. Everyone's got their own little flair. Some people like high carbs, some people like low carbs. It just, there's a lot of similarities at the point of this. So when I started getting into coaching, I had a couple of world record powerlifters. And I get a text one day from one of my athletes, and he goes, "Hey man, Stan Efferding stole your diet." And I was like, Stan Efferding, the world's strongest bodybuilder, the White Rhino? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, he stole your diet. I'm like, what? That's kind of a weird thing to say because I didn't really author a diet. I just based my nutrition guidance around fucking science on what worked. And he goes, no, man, like it's to the T. So this particular individual sent me, a screenshot. He was like, no, man, he called it, this is the first variation of the vertical diet. And you look at
the vertical diet.
The vertical diet. And so when you look at it to the T, it was exactly what I wrote for Gary Slater, who broke the all-time world record in Masters 181 squat division, which the record still stands. Thank you, Gary.
Wow.
But that similar style of food and that structure is what I do for a good chunk of people. Not everyone, it's modified over the years. But at that time, I mean, to the T was saying, they're like, you should sue him. I'm like, sue him for what? What a bizarre thing.
Yeah.
So then I started getting phone calls and text messages from all these people in the fitness industry. They're like, hey, man, like, someone told me that Stan Efferding stole your diets. I'm like, that's the most bizarre thing to call me about. Like, one, I'm not going to sue him. I don't have any beef with him.
Yeah.
We both built nutrition plans based around real science. Like, if anything,
isn't that diet based around like salt or something?
It's the consistency of salt, and that's what people got really confused on. They're like, his is basically just sodium and red meat. I'm like, no, that's not that's not true. Because you have to understand that the way that he guides his athletes, and most fucking bodybuilding coaches do this shit too, is you need movement after each meal. So whether you do your 5 or 10-minute walks after each thing, you need sodium. You need all these things. Like when people try and do those dry scoops for pre-workout and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh, man, I'm just going to choke down this powder. Like, you're missing so much. This is like a 6-hour conversation. I'm not even going to go down that road. But you are missing crucial things. And especially like, oh God, someone just sent this to me.
Wait, hold on. When you dry scoop, like what do you mean?
So when you
I don't do that. I always thought that was
and
crazy.
you're missing out on the fluids of pushing everything down because you're trying to think, you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to do this, but you're missing a driving force to it.
Okay.
But there's a gray area in here because it really depends on the type of hydration that you're getting too. And hydration is not limited to water. So if you went to the hospital and you said, oh, I'm dehydrated, they're not going to just give you water. They're going to give you a solution that has potassium, has magnesium. There's other things in there too, depending on what you got going on. Do you need zinc? There's all sorts of things that go with it. So it's not as simple as just here, drink water for hydration. And then if you look at things like reverse osmosis water, like smart water, one of these days, I swear they're going to fucking sue me for talking shit about them. But it's one of the worst things that you can drink. So reverse osmosis water is essentially just drinking distilled water. And so as you drink, it's like if you've drinking core water or things like that, and you keep licking your lips, you're like, man, my lips just feel really dry, is you're dehydrating yourself and you didn't even know it because it's just added minerals for taste. It's not minerals that are actually going to help hydrate you. So you're constantly flushing crucial things that you need out of the body. Oh yeah, no, it's
that's crazy. I never even heard about this.
Yeah. So there, trust me, this is a long conversation that we won't get into today, but it's
yeah, I'm fascinated by this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so
I just like to learn.
Every time an athlete works with me, they all tell me the exact same thing. They're like, dude, I didn't even think water was a thing like of importance until I started working with you. And now I'm so mad at you because I can't go to like a 7-Eleven and just get $1 water. I end up buying like some $7 Voss water and I'm going broke.
Yeah. Fuck. I usually get smart water at like the airport.
Yep.
Guess I'm not going to do that.
A good thing to do with
always
your water,
look for
a good thing to do with your water. This is what I do with all my clients as well as myself. Celtic sea salt or Baja Gold. Those two salts in your water bottle. I do if it's like a 20-ounce bottle, like a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt in there. Extremely hydrating. It's the shit, and it works really, really well.
Okay.
You'll get used to it.
Have you heard of a guy named Dr. Eric Berg?
What's his name?
Dr. Eric Berg.
No.
I'll send you some of his stuff. So Dr. Eric Berg, he's one of my favorite YouTubers to watch other than Big Rob Energy. But there's a free plug. Streaming tonight on Kick. But Dr. Eric Berg does these incredible breakdowns of these deep dives into the different types of sodium. That salt is not just salt. It's kind of like what we just talked about with water. And one of the things that he talks about between the difference of Celtic sea salt, Himalayan salt, as well as the Baja Gold, and how that type of sodium interacts with the muscle cells, it's mind-blowing. Like, the deep dives that you can do with sodium alone makes you rethink how you eat food and how you season food. And I was like, oh my God, like, the amount of fluid retention that you can manipulate just by changing the type of sodium that you ingest, crazy. So crazy.
I should look into that for sure. I've been feeling kind of like watery lately.
So if you switch out table salt, like the white salts, and you do like even just like pink Himalayan salts, like on In-N-Out fries, you will hold next to 0 extra water.
Wow.
It's
What the
wild.
fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, I have some of that shit.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Now you know.
Yeah,
it works
I'm
good.
definitely gonna do that.
It'll
for
take
sure.
a minute to process through. You have to do it pretty consistently throughout, a couple
Yeah.
weeks. Once you take that salt in and you get on a regular basis taking it in, you start to get rid of unneeded like bloating and just water retention, and then your body starts to level out.
Yeah.
As far as your hydration level, and your energy actually comes up significantly. You'll feel really good doing that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Shit. I'm open to anything. No doubt.
Yeah. No, the energy thing, that's a great thing because it does. It makes a really big difference too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the sodium thing, it's wild.
Yeah.
Man, that was such a weird little sidetrack thing. We started talking about
We were talking about the Emerald Cup.
the white rhino, and then
Remember his
no,
cooler? Is he still selling that?
Yeah, the cooler.
What is it?
Yeah.
The cooler.
oh man, does he still have that?
Wasn't
thing?
it just called the cooler?
I think it was
Or,
called the cooler.
I think it was.
was
Yeah, it had his
basically-
little rhino symbol on it, and it was a cooler
With a K,
that
I
kept
think.
your drinks cool.
Yeah,
You were on
imagine
Shark
that.
Tank for that, right?
Thecooler.com. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. Shark Tank. Shark Tank clip 2017.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's funny. Yeah, he was awesome though.
Yeah, but anyway, that was a really, really long story to go back to. Do I know him? Yes. Do I have beef with him? No, I don't care.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about that. Yeah, it's all good.
But aside from streaming tonight, what kind of fun things do you have in the pipeline? Do you have anything big that you're working on that you can share publicly?
No,
No.
there is some. I mean, there's something, but literally one person knows about it. So I'll just say that. But later on this year, I guess I'll just say later on this year, you can expect something like pretty out of left field,
cool.
but it's a big project. So, yeah. Other than that, just my biggest thing with what I do is like consistency. That's always like my just goal is just to be as consistent as possible, because there's like a drastic difference on every platform if you are consistent and if you're not. I mean, it literally applies to like every aspect of life, really. But with social media, it's like if you get some momentum and you get even just one video to do well, like the next video you post definitely will have a chance to do well. From what I've seen, and if you can get that ball rolling, you can get to the point where like I'll post a video after having the ball rolling, and I'm like, I kind of know it's gonna do well. So trying to stay on top of that, but that kind of goes back to the ideation process and like how challenging that is, because if you don't have an idea, then it's very hard to be consistent. So, but that's kind of my goal on a daily basis is really just consistency. And yeah, the thing about brand deals and stuff too is like the fourth quarter of every year is always like the biggest part of the year. Like every brand's like advertising, and you see a ton of people doing deals and like the holidays and all that shit. But then the first quarter of the year is historically very slow. So I've had a very slow first few months. But then December of last year was literally the biggest year I've ever had with brand deals and, you know, just financially and stuff. It was the biggest month I've ever had. But then the next few months, I didn't do anything. So it's like, that's a tough part about content creation that people don't ever really seem to talk about. But there's some stuff in the works. Like I mentioned, a couple brands earlier. I haven't said their name. But those videos will be out probably the next few weeks. So we're kind of getting the ball rolling with some partnerships again. My goal is to get some partnerships with like long-term partnerships and not just like one-off things. That's like everybody's goal, really. So yeah, hopefully that works out, but I don't know. That's really it. You never really know what's going to happen in this world. Honestly,
I guess that's the exciting part though, because every day
it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting, but it's also can be very stressful. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty positive guy, so I feel like I naturally kind of hide when I actually am stressed out. But yeah, it can be exciting at the same time. Like there's literally pros and cons to everything. Like my wife has a great job. She knows she has a very like normal 9-to-5 type job, corporate job, whatever. But she knows how much money she's gonna make every couple of weeks and like whatever. But like for me, it's like it could be a sick month or it could be a dog shit month. But at the same time, I also have control basically over how much money I can make too. So if I go super hard, then I can actually make an extra, you know, I don't know, a few $1,000 or whatever. It's up to me. So, but yeah, it's an interesting career for sure. It's so weird. I don't know. There's been so many times where I've been at like a group setting with it may be people that like I just met or something. One instance is coming to mind right now where we were at like this beach last year and like I just met like there was a camping trip and I just met like 16 different people at once. It was like this huge thing. And every single person was like fascinated with my career and like nobody was talking about anybody else's like job because they're just like, how do you do that? Like how does this even work? Like no one ever knows. So it's kind of fun to talk about it, but yeah, it definitely very unorthodox for sure. But
I feel like you and I have kind of like a same day-to-day battle of, you know, I nobody masks trauma with comedy better than I do.
Yeah. I think most humorous people are sort of like that in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
But
a lot of jokes I come up with are based off of some bullshit I'm either dealing with or dealt with. Like, even if it is just a video game, it's like, it's all, most of the people I'm making fun of in my content, people don't even realize this, the people I'm making fun of is like pretty much me. Like that's like kind of the basis of a lot of jokes. Like I'll talk about how people suck and whatever, but I'm like literally just thinking about moments where I fucked up. You know what I mean? That's so it's kind of funny, but
yeah. But no, like my wife has, you know, a good corporate job too. And, you know, she's got that stability and there I am, you know, I'm all about the high risk, high reward. So here I am, you know, I get, you know, cause we's a team, but we travel everywhere and things like that. And, you know, bodybuilding has been a blessing for us for sure. It, you know, it was not an easy road to get there, but you know, now we're able to really enjoy the fruits of the labor.
Yeah.
But normally we kind of end the podcast with talking about different fast food related stuff, but I don't want to stumble you and fuck up a brand deal. So we're going to skip that one, but I will ask.
I'll talk about it. I got nothing going on right now.
Oh, okay. I'm asking then.
I talk about food all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
So I'm going to give them to you rapid fire and you just shoot them out.
Hold on.
Okay.
Don't ask the stupid cheese question.
Oh, we're not asking the fucking cheese question.
Good. That fucking question's dead.
Okay.
Okay. We'll ask the cheese
Well, now
question.
you got to ask it.
Okay. So rapid fire. Major chains only. Fast food. Best hamburger.
Fuck. I think Five Guys.
Okay. See, I said Five Guys too.
But I will say I haven't been there in like 10 years because it's so expensive. Like I
Well,
never go there, but I
inflation, I think they're down
know,
to
but
$3
I know it's fucking good. this is crazy, but I also think Carl's Jr. is super underrated. So
Oh, for sure. Carl's Jr. for sure.
and they have
East
super
Coast,
good deals
Carl's
too.
Jr.,
Like
buddy.
you can get two big ass burgers for like $4. Like it's
Yeah,
they're
and
like
they're
good
doing
burgers.
triple westerns
Nobody knows
right
about
now.
them.
Triple Western cheeseburgers right now.
Dude, I'm trying to lose like 20 pounds. So shut up. And my wife went out of town today, so like usually this is what I fuck up. But
All right.
yeah.
Best
Anyways.
French fries.
Sorry, what?
Best French fries.
Best French fries. Definitely not In-N-Out. Fuck no. I'm a big curly fry guy.
From who? Jack in the Box?
Who has? Oh, well, Jack in the Box comes to mind, so I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, that was always a big selling point of going there was like the curly fries. I'm trying to think of who else even has curly fries, but
I don't know if anyone else does.
yeah, I would say yeah. I guess I would say them just for the curly fries. I mean, shit. I haven't been there in 15, 20 years, but I always thought Burger King actually had really good fries. But like they may be terrible now. I don't know. I remember them standing out.
I haven't been to a Burger King in quite a while. But
Yeah.
best chicken nuggets.
I think Wendy's is pretty good. They're small though. They're small.
Chicken
Yeah.
sandwich?
God, where the
This
fuck
one. This
was
one's
I?
controversy.
Yeah, see, we don't have a lot of like chicken sandwich places around here. Like we don't have a Popeyes in town or like or whatever. I guess Chick-fil-A. I guess, but
That's a normal. That's a
I don't
normal
know.
one nowadays.
We have a Chick-fil-A down the street. I think I've been to that Chick-fil-A like one time. So
All right. And then I got the one that stumps everybody. Milkshakes.
In-N-Out has pretty good milkshakes, I would say. They're kind of basic though. There's nothing like creative about them. A milkshake, fuck. Wendy's, is it a Frosty and
Have you both ever
milkshake?
had burgers and cream?
No.
Dude, okay, so it's in Grass Valley where I live in California here, but
Okay.
it's called Burgers and Cream, and they're burgers, badass, fries are hella good, and they have these things called Tasties, and there's one called the Dirty Bear,
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
like Oreo ice cream and gummy bears, and like it's legit, so good.
Damn, dude. The Dirty Bear. I think that should be Eric's new name.
Man, you grew up in
Yeah.
San Francisco and everyone thinks you're a bear. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was trying to think of other places with milkshakes. I don't know.
I mean Sonic, I guess.
fucking has a
Burger
milkshake?
King.
Sonic?
Burger King
Does
has
Sonic
the
have a
most underrated milkshakes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Maybe Burger King's good.
Could be. Better work on that brand deal.
Yeah, seriously.
We're all going to wear
I'm
crowns on
stop
the
trying to
thinking
get
about
sponsored
fast
by
food.
Dr. Pepper, so
Yes. If you could figure out a
That'd be
way
sick.
to talk to your management company about getting us a brand deal with Dr. Pepper, Josh would be thrilled. Because I don't know
Just
anyone
Dr.
who
Pepper.
loves Dr. Pepper more than he does.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll try. I guess.
You have my address. You can mail me a case.
Okay, that is true. That is true.
Okay. So
What's the
I've
cheese
asked this
question?
question a couple of times now, and Josh is not a fan of this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because
Everyone
he was
answered it
wrong. Your shit was wrong.
Oh, the answer
Okay.
wrong.
He answered it wrong. Horrendously wrong, I will add. Okay. What is the number one cheese at a sandwich shop? Not your favorite. What is the number one that people request, or what is, sold the most? And then tell me your favorite.
I mean, fuck. Sold the most at a sandwich shop? I mean, I guess I would say American cheese, but that seems too obvious. Cheddar? I think
So
pepper
first off,
jack's
you
my
didn't ask the
favorite.
damn question that way
Oh,
when he asked
get
me
the
this question.
fuck out.
No, bullshit, dude. You didn't ask the question that way, so you fucking threw me under the bus.
He just said pepper jack.
That's my
Oh,
favorite.
It glitched on my end. Thank you for picking
Oh, yeah.
Pepper Jack. That's what I said too. Fuckers.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Wait, what's the most popular cheese?
We don't know. It's just speculation. I said provolone.
I don't know about that.
Whoa.
Oh, I like
Thank you.
provolone,
I got
but
someone on my team.
I know
finally. Thank
people
you
that
very much.
dislike like they talk shit about it.
This
Yeah,
podcast is
provolone's like a
over.
thick. It's kind of a weird thick cheese, but I like it a lot. But I just like pepper jack. I like Colby Jack for sure.
Oh, I like Colby. Yeah.
But I like pepper jack, no doubt. I think the most popular has got to be probably just American cheese. Like,
I see, and we were wondering about this because you think about the different sandwich shops. Like the customer that goes to a Togo's is vastly different than a Subway customer.
isn't Subway the most popular fast food place?
Well, I mean, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. Bonnie Blue's the most popular porn star doesn't mean she's good.
But think about how many slices of American cheese like a Subway goes through every day. Like it's got to be a million.
Yeah.
I feel like cheddar would be the most popular. I
Yeah,
feel like
Cheddar's way better than American for sure.
yeah, American cheese is not cheese.
Yeah, it just sounds fake.
I just have this little tiny Italian grandmother in my ear. That's not the cheese.
Do you guys like Jersey Mike's?
They're not bad. I don't think they
I
give
love
nearly
Jersey
enough
Mike's.
meat. I think it's just a bunch of bread with, a skinny
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah, I get extra meat and no oil. I can't do the oil.
They don't even offer me the oil. What's the oil?
Oh, well, I get the Italian, and they just they put so much fucking oil on it, dude. It's like their thing.
Cool.
So I don't know what you get there. I don't know if they do other sandwiches, but like I know they're like known for just putting this oil on their sandwiches, but it's like legit gets like everywhere. People love it, but I think they have great stuff.
I've been gypped, man.
Yeah, you got to get extra meat though.
You got to get extra meat.
Yeah, for sure.
And just, if anyone's like, oh, that's gay. It's not gay if it's TSA. Everybody knows that. Well, on that note, Rob, real quick, plug, shout out, everything that you do. Where can people find you? How do people get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty easy. Every single platform, I have the same handle. It's just Big Rob Energy on every single thing. Besides Snapchat, it's Big Rob Energy with 2 Y's because some jackass took my name. So that's what happens when you're late to the game, I guess. But other than that, every single thing is Big Rob Energy. So that's pretty much it.
And if people want to find you, you got YouTube, all the major social media platforms, and then you stream semi-consistently on Kick.
Yeah, I'll get better about it. Yeah, find me on Kick. You can also follow me on Twitch. I plan on multi-streaming at some point, so I'll be live on both platforms.
Do you stream on Reddit?
Dude, Reddit is like the one thing I've never used. Ever.
Weird.
Like, I ask
it's like weirdly
I ask-
toxic.
I Google questions and like sometimes like Reddit pops up, but like I've never invested any time into like having an account and looking stuff up. I barely understand the point of it. Like I know it's like forums or something, but I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard a lot of terrible things about it.
yeah.
Like it
yeah,
always has like a very negative connotation to it.
it's super weird and toxic. I have a weird question. I think, well, maybe it's not weird. I thought it was an interesting thing. So, there are steroids in every major sport. Are there steroids in esports?
Performance enhancers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they use Adderall. Yeah, Adderall is a big problem in like at least like professional Call of Duty. And I'm sure other games, but these dudes are there was a big thing about it last year. I forget the details, but like there was a big Adderall thing going around like should they ban it or something because some people like need it like just to function. But then you see these dudes like
Just abusing it.
just wildly locked into whatever they're doing and I don't know. And they play, nonstop. Like I was saying, a lot of these streamers, they stream for a fucking long time and they're some of the best guys in the world. So it's like zero fatigue and their whole career is based on being good at the game. So it's like, a lot of them, if they came out and that's something they were doing, like I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. So Other than that, I don't think there's anything else people are doing. But I've definitely seen like conversations and stuff on Twitter and whatever about like Adderall, no doubt.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It makes sense, especially if you got to stay
yeah, it makes
focused.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
crazy.
Yeah, and everything happens in like a millisecond. So you know,
Yeah. We just did a podcast the other day with a chemist friend of mine, and we were talking about nootropics and psilocybin mushrooms and how that
Oh, yeah.
affects the speed of the brain and how you're able to essentially just process everything so much faster than a sober mind, and that it was fascinating. It was a really interesting talk.
yeah, I gotta get something like that. I have this. I think it's empty, but that new pep stuff
Oh yeah,
that you told me about.
yeah.
Yeah,
Discount
pretty
code
sure-
LORE,
pretty sure-
LORE.
Yeah, yeah, I use that every single time. So
Dude, that new stuff is fantastic.
yeah, I feel like it works. I always
Burns
I
like
don't
a
know,
motherfucker.
I'm always like, yeah, it does, dude. When you spray that up, it's like, god damn. But, yeah, I think I'm a believer in it. I feel like it makes a difference for sure.
And that's one of those weird, because people ask, they're like, well, how are you supposed to feel? And I was like, it's not like a huge thing. Like you're taking a stimulant where you're cracked out of your mind. You're just very aware of what's happening around you. And I think the biggest thing for me, and when I recommend it for people, is doing it before you're going to do something that you would need to retain that information. Like you're going into a meeting, you're going to, do language studies, you're going to do something to where you need to think back on that information and not be like, oh shit, like that was in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's a great, just like psilocybin, it's a great learning tool. That's what
Yeah.
it's there for.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if I've ever used any other supplements or anything that like, any nootropics or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to know this girl that worked at Onnit. She was like pretty high up at Onnit, and she was supposed to send me stuff and like just never did, and then got a new job somewhere else. So kind of missed out on that. But I don't know if that's. I just never know. Like, dude, supplements are weird because like I have so much shit in my pantry downstairs that like you just buy, but like so many things, dude. Besides like I guess anything caffeinated are like faith based, And what I mean by that is like you take all these supplements and you're like, yeah, I think this does something. I'm just gonna assume this works or whatever, unless you get your blood work done, I guess. But
Yeah, like the longevity
Yeah.
ones, the things that you don't feel.
yeah, like
That's kind of a
yeah, like I even take like you can obviously test vitamin D, but like I take vitamin D every morning and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it'll like it doesn't hurt, so I guess I'd take it. I don't know, but you're not like super
you're
just
like,
electric
man,
after 5 minutes
I
or
took
something.
some zinc and ubiquinol.
Yeah, like I take zinc before I like go to bed. I'm like, because I heard some good things about it. I'm like, I don't know if it's doing anything, or I don't know if I feel good today because I just slept well last night, or I don't know. But it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't hurt. So whatever, dude. Might as well.
Yeah, what an interesting leap of faith that we all take.
Yeah, yeah. It could just be one massive marketing thing, and I don't know.
There's some guy in
probably
Utah just laughing. He's like, look at all these poor people.
Yeah. Well, and I've been in the marketing world since I was a kid, so it's like I'm very skeptical on a lot of things. You know what I mean? When I see ads and everything, I'm like, yeah, fucking right. Like I know exactly what they're doing and stuff like that. So I usually ask guys like you or somebody else that actually knows about the science and whatever to guide me, and I trust you and stuff. So
You know who doesn't do any money in marketing but still makes a killing? Gas station boner pills.
do we know they're making a killing, or are they just all like 10 years old?
You know,
and
there's some, poor truck driver has been driving 16 hours straight, way past his commercial license allows, and he was like, "Yeah, man, there's a lot lizard back there behind the pilots." Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They definitely got those around here for sure. I live in one of those towns where like there's got to be something out there like that.
You got a Loves, you got a Pilot.
Yeah, we got a Pilots for sure. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the hidden gem that no one talks about. Pilot's truck stops have incredible pizza.
What?
Oh, dude, that's not even a joke. Whatever they do to the crust, like they put some kind of like buttery oil on it with like a little bit of like Italian seasoning. Oh,
Damn.
get out of here.
Pilots? I'm pretty sure it's a. I actually have to go near. I think that's a Pilot's.
Dude, I get
Well,
so
I
excited.
don't
want
wanna
to
get a pizza,
trip
though.
and I see
I'm not
one.
getting
I'm
a
like, hey, we all need the bathroom, right?
That's funny.
Yeah,
Actually, like a year ago, I door dashed a pizza from 7-Eleven at like 2 a.m. Not my proudest moment, but I remember that pizza being like surprisingly good. So that might be another untapped place. I was probably drunk too, though, so I don't know. I think any pizza at that point probably would have been pretty good, but yeah. Anyways.
Well, hey, Josh,
I wonder why I can't get into shape, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just had a pizza at 2 a.m, drunk. Yeah, okay. Anyways.
Josh, do you have anything to add for our good friend Rob?
Just the usual, question that we always ask at the end is, we always ask our guests that we bring on to do some form of, let's say, philosophical advice, dad advice, life advice, like something that stood out to you or you've learned along the way. That's kind of got you here and keeps you moving forward.
Yeah, I think I'll just speak on the world of like content creation and stuff, but for anybody out there like that really wants to get into this shit, that does content and is trying to make something out of it, I think easily the best thing you could do is like follow what you actually give a shit about, because if you try to just do what you think you should be doing or whatever, like you will 100% burn out because your heart was never even in it. Like you don't even really want to be doing it. So it's going to feel way more like a chore if you're not obviously passionate about it. You know, I love what I do. I love, the games I play, and my career relates to it. So I'm always thinking about it, and it comes way more naturally, and it makes from a longevity standpoint, it makes everything way easier. But I know people that have, mimicked what they've seen online of people being successful, and they may be good at it, but they're just genuinely not into it. They're not passionate about it. They don't really care about it. And they're just trying to fake it. And it just never ends well. So figure out what you actually truly love and stick to it, and, just bust your ass, and something will happen, for the better. So. Yeah.
Very
Awesome,
good,
man.
I love that. Follow your heart, do it with passion.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, cool. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day for this. I know we went
Yeah, this is
over
awesome.
our normal time, but it
It's all
was,
good.
it was very
I
good.
look forward to this all day, dude.
Yeah, no, this is fun.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, for everyone, thank you for listening, and we will be there for the next one.